In the past years, the world has transformed by a succession of innovative new machines, inventions, and gadgets. Human inventions and technologies shaped civilizations that paved the way, creating a better world. As expectations and capabilities evolve, each generation cultivates its own set of innovative thinkers. Most of everything we have now were once an idea that turned into reality. And I bet most of you don't know how all of these inventions started. Well, lucky you, because we are taking you to a little tour. So get ready for 10 inventions in the modern era.
The Internet. The Internet is one of the most common household names in the world. The history of the Internet started about 60 years ago. In 1962, a man named J.C.R. Licklider proposed the idea of computers that could talk to one another. In 1969, the first ever message was sent by one computer to the other through the U.S. government's network at that time called the ARPANET, or the Advanced Research Projects Agency Network. One computer was located at a research lab in UCLA and the other was in Stanford. In 1971, Ray Tomlinson developed the first system that sent mail back and forth between the users of the ARPANET network. This eventually became what we call today as electronic mail or email. The increase in the existing networks made way for ideas that would connect computers to different networks. That's why in 1971, a computer scientist named Inventions invented the Transmission Control Protocol, or TCP, which is a way for computers to be introduced to other computers in a globally virtual space. This was followed by Internet Protocol, or IP, and then the SERS protocol that was used by scientists in the late 80s. In the 90s, this was the time when the Internet really began. In 1991, a computer programmer named Tim Berners-Lee created the World Wide Web. The World Wide Web was not only a data-sharing medium, but was an entire network of information that was accessible for anyone that had access to the Internet. In 1992, Urwise was created. It was a web browser and was the first to have a graphical interface. Today, the most popular web browsers that are being used are Firefox, Chrome, and Safari. The major use of the Internet is the easy access to any information. We use the Internet today to research anything such as for education, for job applications, for shopping, entertainment, social networks, and many more. Without the Internet, social media platforms such as Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube would not have even existed. Online classes would not be possible, and most importantly, we wouldn't have easy access to unlimited information in just a matter of seconds. Just imagine what life would be today if we didn't have access to the Internet, especially during this pandemic.
GPS, or the Global Positioning System, is a global navigation satellite system that provides location, velocity, and time synchronization. GPS is everywhere. You can find GPS systems in your car, in your smartphone, and even in your watch. GPS helps you get where you are going, from point A to point B. Basically, in the word positioning system, it defines the location of where you are and where is that certain place located. How a certain object is moving from one place to another. Technically, GPS gives a wider view of everything here on Earth from up above so that we can see clearly of what and how things going on and where is everything being positioned. So how are these GPS so useful? GPS is a powerful and dependable tool for businesses and organizations in many different industries. Surveyors, scientists, pilots, boat captains, first responders, and workers in mining and agriculture are just some of the people who use GPS on a daily basis for work. An example for these are those delivery guys of different fast food chains like McDo and Jollibee. Also, those in Foodpanda and Tokyo to get their deliveries to their customers. They use GPS information for preparing accurate surveys and maps, taking precise time measurements, tracking position or location, and for navigation. GPS works at all times in almost all weather conditions. The Global Positioning System, or the GPS, has been developed in order to allow accurate determination of geographical locations by military and civil users. It is based on the use of satellites in Earth orbit that transmit information which allow to measure the distance between the satellites and the user.
The drone, or also known as unmanned aerial vehicles. So it is easy to see how unmanned aerial vehicles, or UAVs, or drones can be seen as a modern invention. If we could travel back in time to just 10 years ago, the idea of ordering a reliable flying camera online would seem more scientific fiction than scientific fact. This is especially true for easily drones with payloads capable of producing thermal, multispectral, and LiDAR-based imagery. The concept of drones may well date back at 1890, but it is way back at 1819 when Austria attacked Venice using unmanned balloons stopped with explosives. As innovative as this event was in the field of military technology, the use of balloons does not really meet the current definition of drones. So because they use balloons, doesn't really mean that. It is just giving the idea or the basic concept of drones that are made today. So that being said, that drones was the concept of military. So the concept of making our drones today are based on military or based in wars. So the invention of the modern drones was this late 1990s, and this drone was developed as more usable unmanned aerial vehicles or drones. So the use of drones nowadays are just like before. They are being used in our military field to spy, to navigate, to locate the location of our enemies. And also they consider it as useful because it takes no person to ride it. So it's really safe using it. And also the use of drones nowadays in our daily not daily, but it is very useful in our media, and our researchers, and our school projects, and etc. etc. So drones are basically one of the most useful technology that are being invented in our modern world.
So now let's talk about airplanes. The Wright brothers, Orville and Wilbur's main innovation was the development of successful flight controls. Though the design looked simple, but every detail of it played an important role. Their design was so complete that even the current modern aircrafts use the same principles. So how does this work? Well, the curved design of the wings generates a lift force that enables the aircraft to stay in the air, and the propellers pushes it forward, which is driven by a lightweight engine that they personally designed. Their invention allows the pilot to control the aircraft to pitch, roll, and yaw. To pitch the airplane, an elevator arrangement was designed at the front. It is connected with a lever where a rope mechanism changes the angle to move upward or downward. In modern airplanes, these elevators are placed at the back. Second, to make the aircraft roll to the left or right, they made use of wing warping. In modern aircraft, ailerons are used and attached to the outward trailing edge of each wing. However, to overcome the adverse yaw while warping the wings, the Wright brothers made use of a rudder arrangement to adjust the aircraft's stability as it rolls. The pilot simultaneously operates these controls in a cradle using his hip where cables are attached to it. In modern airplanes, the rudder is mounted on the trailing edge of the vertical stabilizer or the fin. This innovation evolved throughout the years. Airplanes now come in varying sizes, shapes, and wing configurations. It has been widely used as means of transport to move people and cargo from one place to another, and is even functional for military purposes.
Now, moving on to our next modern invention, which is penicillin. So, penicillin was discovered by Scottish scientist Alexander Fleming in 1928. The first antibiotic drug, penicillin, changed human medicine, forever giving rise to new types of antibiotics and helping to obliterate a whole range of previously deadly bacterial infections and diseases. Penicillin alone has saved an estimated 80 million to 200 million lives. Penicillin is a medicine used to cure various bacteria such as rheumatic fever, syphilis, tonsillitis, gangrene, and gonorrhea, and it was also the first drug. The invention of penicillin was like the key to the antibiotic revolution. Alexander Fleming was credited for the invention of penicillin. He came back summer vacation to see that mold was fighting the bacteria. He thought that he could use this to treat bacteria, so he named it and presented it to the science community. Penicillin was originally molded in a petri dish. In 1941, Howard Florey and Ernst Boris Chain improved penicillin and made the first vaccine for society to use. As what Mr. Fleming had said, one sometimes finds what one is looking for. Alexander Fleming's code explains the basics on how we found penicillin. And to end this, it shows how often that even stuff that might currently have no meaning can show up to be important.
A smart TV is a television set that connects to the internet and enables the users to use services like video streaming, web browsing or surfing, or even gaming. Aside from these features, if you want to use regular TV channels, you can also access them here along with the online interactive media and over-the-top content. It also allows home networking solutions such that all devices be interconnected and be operated with a single click. Practically, the smart TV is like a computer, except that you cannot write on it. Many smart TV has Ethernet connection and allows access via Wi-Fi also. So smart TV platforms have a software development kit or a native development kit, which allows third-party developers to create applications for it irrespective of the hardware manufacturer. These applications can then be installed and uninstalled by the users to access online content bypassing traditional media platforms. Smart TVs can access and deliver content like photos or movies or music from other connected devices through technology like that of LAN. Smart TV also provides access to internet-based services like video on demand, electronic advertising, gaming, social networking, and multimedia applications. Hence, this invention allows you to watch your favorite series or games or any latest movie that you prefer in your suitable free time.
So let us have the solar panel. Solar panels are those gadgets that are utilized to ingest the sun's beams and convert them into power or heat. Let's take a light step back to 1883 when New York inventor Charles Fritz created the first solar cell by coating selenium with a thin layer of gold. Solar panels act as a way to mount a series of solar cells so that their unique properties can be used to generate electricity. Individual cells absorb photons from the sun, which results the production of an electric current in the cell through a phenomenon known as the photovoltaic effect. An inverter is used to convert the direct current generated by a solar panel into alternating current. So to combine these two technologies, it will create a photovoltaic system. When installing a solar panel, the proper orientation is chosen so that the solar panel faces in a direction that is most suitable for the specific application. This is the most often to produce the maximum annual energy, but it is not the always case. Nowadays, solar panels are utilized in wide-going electronic gear like calculators, which function as long as the sunlight is accessible. Notwithstanding, the main significant disadvantage of this is that they are very expensive, but likewise, solar panels are introduced outside as they need sunlight to get charged. Solar panels will fill up your battery with the sun's energy, which means you have some electricity stored for your future use. Using this stored energy, your battery is providing power during the night.
Now, let's have the satellite. A satellite is either a planet, moon, or machine that orbits a planet or another body on space. We have this what we so-called natural satellites, where the moon and earth belong, and the artificial satellites which are made and invented by humans to serve various significant purposes. Now, how do satellites work? Most of man-made satellites are being launched or deployed into space through rockets with sufficient amount of speed. A satellite begins to orbit the Earth once its speed is balanced by the pull of Earth's gravity. Most of the satellites have at least two parts in common, a power source and an antenna. The latter allows information to be sent from Earth to space and vice versa, while the power source keeps the satellite at work and can either be a solar panel or a battery. Now, here's a fact. The first ever satellite called the Sputnik 1 was launched in 1957 by the Soviet Union, and now, with the advances of technology and knowledge, thousands of satellites are now in space. And here comes the most interesting part. What are the purposes that satellites serve? With its location in space, satellites have the ability to gather more data quickly compared to other instruments here on Earth. Satellites send television signals, enhances communication, allows navigation, such as the widely known Global Positioning System or GPS. Also, weather forecasts through monitoring climate and environmental phenomena that are significant for the preparedness and safety of the many. And of course, space science. Satellites enable scientists to widen the horizons of discoveries and observations of the outer space of the universe.
A microchip, smaller than the fingernail, contains computer circuitry called integrated circuit. The invention of the integrated circuit stands historically as one of the most important innovations of mankind. Almost all modern products use microchip technology. A microchip is a set of interconnected electronic components, such as transistors and resistors, that are etched or implanted onto a tiny chip of semiconductor material, such as silicon or germanium. But how did the microchip come to be? The pioneers of known for inventing microchip technology are Jack Lee and Robert Noyce. In designing a complex electronic machine like a computer, it was always necessary to increase the number of components involved in order to make technical advances. The monolithic, which is formed from a single crystal, integrated circuit placed the previously separated transistors, resistors, and capacitors, and all the connecting wiring onto a single crystal or chip made of semiconductor material. Kelvin used germanium and Noyce used silicon for semiconductor material. Today, microchips are used in smartphones that allow people to use the internet and have a telephone video conference. Microchips are also used in televisions, GPS tracking devices, identification cards, as well as medicine for the speedier diagnosis of cancer and other diseases.
Radar, also known as radio detection and ranging, is a product of experimentation done in the late 1800s by a scientist named Henry Church who observed that metallic objects reflect radio waves back to its source. On early 1900s, he acquired a patent of his invention, telemobiloscope, that is now known to be the radar. Radar is a system specialized for detecting any types of motion, appearance, direction, speed, and angle of any approaching aircraft, naval ship, and many other objects by sending high pulses of electromagnetic waves back to its source. Due to its capability of analyzing, detecting, and locating objects around its perimeter, it has already saved millions of lives over the course of centuries. Radar has come to multiple and diverse functions and use. This includes air and terrestrial air control, weather system, anti-missile system, and many more endless possibilities. This modern invention of radar has come to many innovations and styles, but one thing remains common. They are all made to save lives, create a better world, and save humanity.
Modern era is the era when a society became highly driven by technology. It is the era that gave birth to multitudinous notable inventions and discoveries that undeniably effectuated myriads of beneficial impact to the human situation. Transportation and communication became more potent and fast-moving. Data processing and information exchange became faster, accessible, and convenient. The field of medicine became more advanced through new discoveries addressing health issues. Power sources began to invest in sustainability and cost-effectiveness. Inventions paved the way to the acquisition of new knowledge and better understanding of the universe. Thus, global interconnectedness became more closely linked, and the people still soared towards more technological endeavors.